Hello, it's Adedoyin Jaiyesimi here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Since this is my very first video in 2026, please permit me to say Happy New Year. I don't know, is there an expiration date for saying Happy New Year? I don't know, but I would really love to wish you a very Happy New Year. Thank you for sticking with this channel in 2025. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your engagement, and thank you for even sending me messages of how you implemented something you learned, the results you got, the difference that it made. It just, every message that I read, every WhatsApp message, IG DM, LinkedIn DM, just put a smile on my face that this channel is really adding value, and I hope to continue to do that in 2026. Shout out to everyone that responded to my post in the community. I just saw that YouTube is just launched a community platform and I put a post there, and I'm hoping that it brings me a bit closer to you. So if there are questions that you have, things that you want to learn, of course you can definitely put them in the comment section, but you can also engage in the community as well, and I'll try to see how I can use that as well to make the learning more interactive on this platform. Okay, today I'm going to talk about achieving comms career success in 2026, but before I do that, I want to tell you about the comms mentorship circle virtual session, which is happening this Saturday 17th January by 10 a.m. West African time, and we're going to be exploring your path to comms career success in 2026. So this video is like a teaser to that session. I'm going to do a deep dive into what are the trends, the things that I've seen, how you should position yourself this year, and what you can do to get results. So it's going to be a more elaborate session than this one. I'm just going to give some snippets and all of that. So please register. I'm going to put the link in the description. It's going to happen on Zoom, and what I want to do is that I'm going to teach. I'm going to leave some time for Q&A at the end, but when it officially ends, I think the duration is supposed to be for about 90 minutes. I'm going to stay on for about an hour, so anybody who wants to stay to pick my brain, ask me specific questions, just receive guidance and direction on something, I will be there to answer your questions. If that sounds like something you would like to be part of, please make sure you register. Now let's jump into the topic for today. One of the first things that I'm going to say is that to achieve career success in 2026, either in terms of the organization you work with or for yourself professionally, you really need to go back to what you did in 2025 and do some sort of review, reflect. What worked, what didn't work. 2026 is not just a blank canvas that is coming out of nowhere. It is a canvas that is layered on another canvas, which is 2025. And so you have to come in with the lessons that you took from the year. You have to come in knowing what you're not going to repeat. Because if you don't know the mistakes you made last year, or even why things worked, you cannot replicate. So you cannot replicate successes this year, and you cannot avoid mistakes for the year. So please go back, review your plans, review the things that you did, what hindered your goals, what helped you to achieve them, and take some of those lessons into this year, because that's what really would help you to optimize for career success in 2026. The next point is understand what's happening now. What direction is the world going in? Look, there's a lot happening in the world. I remember when we got into 2025 and the news of funding cuts that had ripple effect globally just broke, and as the year progressed, it was one thing or the other, and it's not going to change. So you have to really sit down and say, what exactly is happening now? Because your organization, whether it is for profit or not for profit, does not exist as a vacuum or a silo. It exists in a national context. It exists in a regional context. It exists in a political, economic, and social context. And so if you do not understand what is happening in those different buckets, then it is going to impact the success of your organization and the work that you are doing. And because you are the one that is externally facing, you are the one that is the pulse. Yes, let me use that word. You are the pulse of the organization in terms of getting insights from external stakeholders. You really do have to understand what is happening and where exactly is the world going to. So that means that this year is the year of being informed as a communications professional, how you are listening to the news, how you are getting insights and feedback from your stakeholders, how you're doing your listening. You have to be so on point with it. And then the next point is tied to this. What potential risks does your organization face? More and more, it is becoming very evident that organizations need to pay attention to reputational and communication risk. And who does that sit with? You as a communications professional. So you have to sit down and say, what are the potential risks that this organization faces? Because using your gift, your skills, and your competencies as a communications professional, how are you going to help this organization to navigate this risk? Look, this year, just take it that anything unpredictable can happen. Anything unexpected can happen. There are going to be risks that you didn't foresee. But there are some risks that you can already foresee, which is why, again, that practice of looking back, looking at trends, and I will touch more on this on Saturday, really looking and deep diving into communication risk, understanding it. And I will try in the course of the year to teach on communication risk, because it's something that you really need to understand. It has a tendency to spiral into a life-changing crisis for an organization. But you really need to be aware. What are the potential risk? And if your organization isn't even paying attention to them, that's where you come in to flag these things and say, hey, this is a potential risk. You have your spreadsheets, you have your diagrams, you have your bar charts, all of it, to say these are potential risks that we face this year. Here is how we can potentially navigate it. And remember, like I always say, comms doesn't work in a silo. So it's not like you're going to come and now save the organization from this risk, but it helps you get into that mind frame when you're thinking collaboratively, working with different departments in the organization to mitigate some of these emerging risks. And so the next point is exactly that. What role does communications have to play here, and how can we mitigate this risk? You see, this is very, very important. This is where the value is. It's not just about the tactics you implement. It's not just about the status quo, things that we've always done. If you have been winging it thus far, please, it's time to come up higher, because the stakes are much higher for organizations now, and you have to know what you're doing. And what this means is that you really, really have to upskill and get your knowledge. You really, really have to know, be able to see, for example, your organization wants to get listed on the stock exchange in 2026. Yes, there's the finance aspect to it, there's the investor relations aspect to it, but I hope you do realize there is a heavy communications aspect. But if you don't know what to do, how would you support your organization? How will you help them to avoid the risk that can throw off the listing process, that can affect the share price? And so you have to sit down and look at, and this is a time, I think it's great for you to go to the different department heads to really understand what are their priorities for the year, what are the things that they want to do, and where does communications come in. Think about it as working collaboratively. You can't afford to just sit down in your office and hope that information will find you. You have to be dogged about getting the insights, both external and internal, that you need to do your work successfully in 2026. The next point is know the things that are keeping your senior leaders up at night in terms of the business. I remember when I shared this a few years ago and someone said, Adedoyin, I went to go and ask my boss this question and now my role has been expanded. I'm like, and did they increase your pay? I was like, why did you allow them to box you in that way? But it was funny. But the truth is that you have to work with information. You have to work with data. You have to work with something tangible that you can go with. So again, engage your internal stakeholders, your senior leaders, the department heads. Know what is going on. I know, yes, for some of you, they don't invite comms to the table, this and that. Invite yourself to the table. What did I say? Invite yourself to the table. Ask them if they have entered into the room, they do not allow you to enter. It's okay. As they're coming up, please, what's the highlight of what you discussed? You have to, in fact, be so proactive and be so, I don't want to use the word annoying, be pester them to the point that they say, oh yeah, enter. Because you need this information and you need to be able to really, really urgently let them know why this information is important. And you can see why all the things that I've shared before, very important. You've reviewed what you did last year. You really have an understanding of where the world is going in. You kind of have a sense of communication risk. And then using all of that, what's happening, the external insights that you have, you then begin to forecast. You then begin to have foresight into, hey, here are potential things you need to be mindful of. Here are things that can throw this plan off. And then you're able to feed it back into your organization. That's where the value add is. I need you all this year to hone in on your competitive advantage. I'm saying a lot of things that I will deep dive on Saturday, but I just need to lay that foundation now so that you can start thinking about it, that your mind is open to some of these things. And the last point, which ties everything that I said, your professional development. Please identify what your knowledge gaps are and close those knowledge gaps. Like I said, this is not the year to wing it. This is not the year to, press release, social media campaign. It is high level. And if you do not have that knowledge, it is time to go back to the class. It is time to go for formal training. Thank God there are platforms like the Comms Avenue that have strategic communications courses. There's SA&A Associates. There's my channel. There's so many avenues in which you can learn. Please be very, 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 very deliberate and intentional about really learning the technical communication competencies, learning the technical competencies of the industry and the sector in which you work in, learning the language of business, learning the language of the organization that you work in, because that is what is going to help you to hone the competitive advantage and position you for success in 2026. Like I said, there's a lot more to share on this, so I hope that you will join me on Saturday, 17th January, where we can explore some of these things further. And in the course of the year, some of the things that I've shared, I'm going to do a deeper teaching. I really want you to get it. I really want you to succeed this year. I really want you to operate in that level where you are valued in your organization, that your organization see that, these are comms person, we need it. That you get to the end of 2026, they can already see. They're not asking you what the comms bring to the table, because they can see the workings and it is plain and clear for all to see. If you're with me, just say in the comment section or write in the comment section, Adedoyin, I'm with you, and let's go on this journey together. I'll be here to support you, to guide. I have some resources that I will be releasing in the course of the year, and I really do hope that you use them for the benefit of your organization and for yourself professionally. As always, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to sign up for the session on Saturday, 17th January, and I look forward to connecting with you on Saturday and in my next video. Bye.